So here's the thing, the gearbox on this, yes, it, forget the cupcakes.
Ooh, wise guy, eh? Ow! Ow!
The gearbox on this, and you can see, looks like something you'll definitely see in an Audi TT A4, A6 and stuff. It's the same style they've put, but this in fact is a ZF gearbox. It's not Audi's DSG gearbox, the double clutch one. So this is just a standard ZF. Now ZF, in case you don't know, a German company that produce gearboxes for a lot of the manufacturers, even including Maserati. They use some of ZF gearboxes as well. So sadly to say, this is not a dual clutch gearbox on this year of a Bentley. I think they started them later, but I just wanted to show you on the actual gearbox the sports function, because often you look at this and you don't really pay attention to what that is and how useful and how much fun that could be. So if we just start up, and then you'll see on the actual gear selector, it's a little bit sunny, you can just see all the standard gears. Now when you obviously pull into drive, it highlights D and so on. However, on the gearbox, if you pull down to the S, then you see it says S1, and you've got the option of running this in 2 modes, just leaving it in automatic and let the car do the upshifts and the downshifts, or you can use the paddles at the back to obviously shift up and down on the gearbox. However, there's another thing that you should do if you're going to make use of the S sports function. You should really go into the actual suspension settings, or the shock absorber settings, press that, and you can see the options that you have. Now I normally run it in the middle, so it's not fully comfort mode, which would be very soft suspension. I just sort of run it somewhere in between. However, if you're going to make use of the sports function on the gearbox, well, you need to put it up to the sports settings so that the car has stiffer suspension, so when you accelerate it stays more flat rather than lifting up or going back. So that's what you'd have it on before you put it into sports and before you see the S, and then definitely use these upshift and downshifts to get the best experience out of the actual car. Now the only problem I've got is on the road. How am I going to test this and show you guys how it performs or how it feels? I could try this. Second gear, third, okay, that's it, that's it. So that was 70 miles an hour in third gear. Third gear. Okay. That was a bit scary because I was in such a low gear. I was in third gear, accelerating hard but not full throttle. I could tell the car started to feel a little bit light. Remember, it is 4-wheel drive, but you have 60% on the rear and 40 on the front. I don't know if that changes much on these cars when you put them in sports manual, but you feel the car go a little bit light as it's accelerating, and it's a dry day today. So literally when you're in sports mode, the throttle response is just so much faster than what it normally is. Gear changes as well, but of course this is not a DSG or any kind of dual clutch system. It is a ZF, I don't know, single clutch, I guess. Not double, it's definitely not double clutch on this one. I think the double clutch came afterwards, but not for this year. Maybe not. Or I could try this, which is a little bit more safer, so I can keep my license. See, I did it in sports but left it in auto, but I didn't like it. It still changed too early. You're best off using the paddle shift, but leaving sports in auto it's not a good feeling. It wasn't scary, I was just watching what happened. That's more scary. Again, that was 70 miles an hour. I must admit, it's a lot more fun driving it in when the suspension is set to sports. But the only reason that's the case right now, because the roads that I'm driving on, I know that they're decent and smooth. Ordinarily driving around, I just leave it in comfort mode, not in sports, because it's just too bumpy. But on these roads, it's lovely. Or maybe not. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's a quick rundown, so you know what the gearbox is in this, and it does make such a difference once you put it in sport. The actual throttle response, the gear changes are so much more sharper, and the acceleration is amazing. The other day I had a Gallardo and a 360, I think, come up behind me, and I let the Lambo go, and he went, and then I tried to go with him, although he had more juice in him. The 360 was just hanging a little bit behind, and I moved over, and he kind of just started to creep up. But by that time I thought, I'm hitting 70 miles an hour, so best I don't carry on with these guys. But they just flew. Admittedly, this is a heavy car, so when you're going at speed on slightly smaller-ish roads, you kind of notice it. On the motorway, it will just keep pulling and pulling and pulling. But it is heavy, so it's no match for a Gallardo and a 360. But that's when I tried out the actual sports manual function for the very first time. Amazing.